Welcome to Lady J's Ministry. My subject for today comes from the book of Numbers, chapter 27. Now I'm reading from verses 4, and it reads, "Why should the name of our father be removed from among his family? Because he had no son. Give us a possession among our father's brother." So, in the book of Numbers, chapter 27, the Bible said that there was a man by the name of Zelophehad. And the Bible told us that Zelophehad had 5 daughters. And the names are Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. You see, according to the Bible, during this biblical time, the inheritance law did not favor daughters. All inheritance passed on to the sons. All inheritance law passed on to the sons. During those times, daughters cannot inherit any possession from their father. When the father died, there's nothing for the daughters. And during this time, women have no voice. Women have no authority. Women cannot testify in court. Women are not allowed to speak to strangers. The Bible told us that when Zelophehad died, his daughters went to the tabernacle to speak to Moses, to speak to Elijah the priest, to speak to the leader and the members of the congregation. And the Bible further told us that these 5 daughters of Zelophehad, when they went to speak to Moses in the tabernacle, the Bible said they did not go inside the tabernacle. They stood by the door of the tabernacle. They did not go inside. These 5 daughters of Zelophehad gathered up their courage. They gathered up their courage. They gathered up their strength and their determination to have their voices heard by all means. They knew the danger that they could face. They knew that they could be laughed at. They knew that they could be stoned to death, but still they pressed on to their mission, regardless of the dangers that they faced. The Bible told us that these 5 daughters of Zelophehad, these 5 sisters, spoke to Moses. They spoke to Elijah the prophet. They spoke to the elders in the tabernacle, saying to them, "Our father died in the wilderness. He was not among those who gathered against the Lord. He was not a perfect man. He died of his own sin. The Bible said that the sister said, "Our father has no sons. He only had 5 daughters." Yes, we know about the inheritance law. Yes, we know that the law does not favor daughters. But why should the name of our father be removed from among his family? Why should the legacy of our father be forgotten just because he has no sons? Instead of giving all our father possession to his brothers, please save some for us. After all, we are his children. We are his direct descendants. The Bible said they plead to Moses, "For God's sake, hear our plea. Be fair to these daughters of Zelophehad." And the Bible told us that Moses heard their plea. Moses paid attention to their plea. Moses did not rebuke these 5 sisters. Moses did not turn his back on these sisters. Moses did not tell them to go away. Moses did not tell them to leave the tabernacle. Moses did not disgrace them. Moses did not embarrass them. Moses did not punish them. Moses listened to what these 5 sisters have to say. Moses paid attention to them. Moses listened to them. Moses understood their case. And the Bible told us that Moses went to the Lord. The Bible said that Moses brought their case to the Lord. And the Bible said that the Lord favored the daughters. The Lord heard the 5 daughters. The Lord is on their side. The Lord favored the daughters, and the Lord changed the inheritance law. Do you hear that? The Lord favored the 5 daughters of Zelophehad, and the Lord changed the inheritance law according to the Bible. And the Bible said that the Lord spoke to Moses. The Lord spoke to Moses. The Bible said that the Lord told Moses that Zelophehad's daughters were right. The Lord said the daughter should have inheritance from their father's possessions. The Bible told us that God did not stop with the 5 daughters of Zelophehad. God made the inheritance law universal to benefit every daughter. And the Bible told us that God told Moses to speak to the children of Israel. Tell the children of Israel that if a man dies and he has no son, his inheritance shall pass on to his daughters. And if he has no children, then his inheritance shall pass on to his brothers. So, despite the challenges faced by these daughters of Zelophehad, they gathered courage to have their voices heard. They stepped out on faith because they trusted in the Lord. They are God-fearing women because they took their case into the tabernacle where God's presence dwells. They didn't go on the street and protest. They didn't go behind the door and make noise or complain. They did not complain in silence. They went into the house of the Lord, where they know that God dwells. That's where they went and took their complaints. They trusted in the Lord, and the Lord did not fail them. The Lord did not fail them. The Lord did not disappoint them. The Lord was on their side. So therefore, their courage, the courage to stand up for themselves because of their faith, the faith that God will make a way, because they are God-fearing women. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, because they trusted in the Lord. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not into your own understanding. The Lord favored them, and because of that, these 5 sisters, these 5 daughters of Zelophehad, forever changed the inheritance law to include daughters. After all, we are God's children. If the Lord is for us, who can be against us? So what lesson do we learn from this scripture? What lesson do we learn from these 5 sisters? What lesson do we learn from the 5 daughters of Zelophehad? I can say that we learn the lesson of courage. We learn the lesson of courage because we should be courageous and we should stand for what is right. This lesson teaches us about faith. The Bible says we don't need too much faith. We only need faith as small as a mustard seed. And if we put our faith in the Lord, like the daughters of Zelophehad did. When we put our faith in the Lord and we trust in the Lord will be on our side. According to the Bible, if God is for us, who can be against us? The 5 daughters of Zelophehad, they knew that the law was not right because the law favored the sons against the daughters. The Bible said every man, every woman, we are all created equal. So there is no reason for the son to have entitled to the inheritance of their father and the daughters do not. The Bible said, take it to the Lord in prayer. So Moses took the case of these 5 daughters, took their case before the Lord, and the Lord favored them, and the Lord changed the inheritance law to benefit every daughters and every son. So God changed the inheritance law to benefit all daughters. After all, we are all God's children. If God is for us, who can be against us? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for watching.